Having defeated the Oakland A's 7-0 rather decisively in Game 1 of the 1990 World Series, now the next night they meet in Game number 2. And it was one for the ages for a lot of different reasons. Billy Hatcher had 3 hits in the opening game. All he did was come back and go 4 for 4 in Game number 2. And Barry Larkin had 3 hits among the 14 that the Reds collected off of Oakland pitching. It was a game that saw the Reds fall behind early, but were able to come back and, of course, send the game into extra innings. And this game will probably be known, among other things, as a night for a young man who very little had been heard from before the game and very little was heard from after the game. And that was a young man, a native Texan by the name of Billy Bates, because it was Billy Bates who got the pinch hit single in the 10th inning that ultimately led to his scoring the winning run in that game on a base hit over the third base bag off the bat of Joe Oliver, a ball that was just out of the reach of Oakland third baseman Carney Lansford that allowed the speedy Bates to come home off of Dennis Eckersley, considered to be, at that time, maybe the best relief pitcher in baseball. Reds, of course, would argue that claim, but he had that reputation, and the hit by Oliver came off of Eckersley to give the Reds a 5-4 win and also give them a 2-0 lead in the World Series as they headed back to Oakland for Games 3 and 4, and if necessary, Game number 5. It'll also be known as a night in which we put out a public plea for Tom Browning to return to the ballpark. Lou Piniella had run pitcher after pitcher after pitcher out there. In fact, he got 7 1/3 innings of scoreless baseball thrown by his bullpen. But in the 10th inning, knowing that the game was going to go to a 10th, and he was worried that he was going to have Browning if it goes past 10 innings. And Tom was due to pitch Game number 3 against Mike Moore in Oakland 2 nights from that night. So we get a word in the radio booth that a call had come from the clubhouse to put out a public plea for Tom Browning. Tom had left the ballpark to go to the hospital for the impending birth of a child from his wife, Debbie. And so Lou knew he wasn't going to pitch, so he said, sure, go ahead. She was in labor. Tom left the ballpark, and we thought the phone call was a hoax. We really didn't believe that anybody would ask us to send out a public plea. But we did that, and we found out it was legit. Tim McCarver was doing the network telecast, and he got wind that we had been asked to put out a public plea for Browning, and he likewise did the same thing on television. Tom, meanwhile, heard the plea, got in the car, came toward the ballpark, and before he ever got there, it was the big hit by Joe Oliver that won the game. The Reds go 5-4 and 10. They go 2 games to nothing up on the vaunted Oakland Athletics, heading toward Game number 3.